in 5, 4, 3.
Hello, welcome to Western Montana Views. We have a new setup today. We have a 2-camera setup for this episode. Hey! Alright, let's get into the topic today. Today we're going to do good versus bad propaganda. Take it away.
Well, first thing that we want to do is state what the propaganda's purpose is. Okay. Mm-hmm. Propaganda's purpose is to manipulate you.
Yes.
And motivate you.
Yes.
And there are 2 different ways you can go. You can go with a good form of propaganda.
Okay.
Or bad form of propaganda.
Okay.
So, what kind of things come to mind to you when you think about good propaganda?
Sure. Well, I think the things that kind of bring unity basically are good propaganda, such as Pledge of Allegiance. If you're a public servant, the oath to the Constitution, that's supposed to be a form of good propaganda that people are supposed to stick to,
Right,
you know?
Right.
Certain speeches in history, like JFK, like ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Right. Right.
Things like that, you know, things that unify
like,
the country, or like, you know, because a lot of people, when they think of propaganda, they're thinking Hitler, World War II. So it's, you know, so I think there are good forms of propaganda where people are kind of brought together, brought to the good.
Oh, I think that there's necessary forms of propaganda, like click your seatbelt.
Sure.
Keeps us all safe.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember when that started to be the deal, and you'd see commercials on TV from the ad council, click it up. People were indignant. You can't tell me what to do. Everyone clicks up.
Yep.
In the end, it was better for us all, even for those that begrudgingly didn't want to use their damn seatbelt. Well, you know, they got thrown out of a lot of cars, and their cars rolled over the top of them.
Mm-hmm.
People started clicking up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, sayings are part of good propaganda. I have a couple other things to add to your Pledge of Allegiance and the oath. The Smokey the Bear Ad Council. Okay. Only you can prevent forest fires.
Right.
It was wonderful for the children. The children loved it. They colored the pictures. They posted them all over the place. I have a Smokey the Bear, only you can prevent forest fires somewhere in my house.
Your poster. I remember it up, you know, as a kid, or it would be posted up. Yeah.
He had binoculars, and he was looking, you know. Right? And when I find it, I'm going to get it on the wall here, too, because it deserves a place on the wall. I talked popular sayings: "United we stand, divided we fall." Well, that's true.
Yeah.
So propaganda can be good. My loose definition of good propaganda is that it's messaging that unites us. It encourages us to a common good, to a common goal.
To a common goal, yeah.
To a common goal with a positive outcome for all.
Sure, that makes sense.
Everyone benefits by driving the speed limit, clicking your seatbelt, not burning down forest fires. Those sort of things. Pledge of Allegiance, it still means something. Still means something.
You know, get the 411, get the 511, get the, you know, you hear about that too. You hear certain numbers or certain things. You know, even 911 wasn't standardized till what, like the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much nationwide. I mean, we have it in Montana. When I drove ambulance here in Missoula, we had the 911 system, but then Billings had it at the same time, and I believe Helena had it at the same time.
Okay.
Maybe even Great Falls, but I mean, not as high-tech as it is now. I mean, the 911 dispatchers that we had is...
Oh, it's like they're automatically recorded. They go through computer digital infrastructure.
From the very beginning, the 911 people and program and systems have just gotten better and better and better and better.
Sure.
If you've rolled your car over in the wintertime and you think that no one's coming to save you and someone has saved you, you need to be grateful for the 911 system and the people putting hands on you. So, Yeah, 911, emergencies only. You know, I got a snake in my yard. Well, why are you calling 911? Call animal control. This is 911. Eventually, everyone starts to understand, boy, you better be bleeding.
Right.
Your house better be on fire.
So even with good propaganda, there could be unintended, consequences at times.
It takes a period of time for people to realize, well, this is not only good for me, it's probably good for my neighbor.
Imagine that.
Imagine, maybe I'll start taking care of my neighbor a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
My neighbor's gone for the weekend.
Sure.
I better keep an eye out on his house.
Right.
Like in the old days, like
Neighbors do.
Yesterday. Our neighbors, we watch our neighbors, they watch us. So, but again, propaganda, the things that keep getting hammered into you for a common goal, for a common good. And then there is bad propaganda. So, bad propaganda, what you got?
I'd say pretty much anything where it's like, I'm the one that can fix it all kind of propaganda, you know.
Even savior?
Yeah.
The savior.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and they actually talk about this somewhat, you know, in some of the communities. It's like the white savior always has to come in and save the day, you know, because, you know, this, you know, whether it's like Dances with Wolves or whether it's, you know, some other environment, basically it's, you know, the hero aspect has to come from the white guy. Apparently that's the main focus, and that's where a lot of Hollywood is definitely trying to like go away from
break
it.
The
and
norm.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's a good thing
because it's one lane messaging.
Very.
Yeah, and it's not always true.
Definitely not.
No, not always true. But
yeah,
you can't throw the baby out with the bathwash either.
But I also think that there are good shows or good movies that are bad propaganda too. I'll give you an example. So like the TV show The Shield. I actually think it's a pretty good TV show. Problem is a lot of it is cops can get away with pretty much anything, and they pretty much can.
Okay.
You know? So I wonder if people joined up in the service because of that show. Because they show that they can pretty much get away with anything.
Sure.
I wonder that a little bit with that show. They almost glorify like being a cop or the violence of it or the, you know what I mean?
The power of it.
The power of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know, and there's a lot of themes and people don't get away with just anything, but still there is, you know, as a propaganda tool, I wonder if some shows like that, or, you know, maybe even more benign TV shows like NCIS. It's like, I'm always in the action, you know? You almost have to wonder, you know, if this is bad propaganda.
Yeah, it's like all the heroes get shot in the left shoulder.
Yeah.
And then they're back the next week.
Barely a little bit of blood splurt out, you know?
Just a flesh wound.
Just a flesh wound. No my ambulatory motion's perfect the next episode, yeah.
Right.
Or okay, they'll bullshit you for like one episode and do the cast, but whatever. But then two episodes from that on, forget it. You're not seeing that thing again.
Right. So, whereas you know, good propaganda, I said was messaging that unites us to a common goal with positive outcome. My rough definition of bad propaganda is the messaging that divides us and encourages effort to only selective goals with pretty much negative outcomes for the many. I'll throw it out there. Adolf Hitler.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Joseph Goebbels was brilliant.
Oh, sure.
Brilliant. Now, a lot of my research that I do for all of these shows, I Google a lot. Now, if you don't believe anything I'm saying or you don't agree with anything that I'm saying, chances are you've need to Google it yourself. You need to do your own research. You need to think for yourself.
Get out of whatever bubble you're in.
And
I don't care who you are. Get out of whatever bubble.
And decide for yourself, well, he's on the mark, or he's on the mark and I don't like that, or he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
I believe in all history being read. I actually believe if you know, knowing where certain origins of certain, you know, groups came from is really an interesting but also needed way of preventing the chaos of the future.
Right. So do your own research, okay? Do your own research. We're talking about propaganda as a living, breathing thing.
Sure.
And it can be used for good or it can be used for bad. The dark side.
Right.
Yeah, well, the dark side's a real thing.
But I'll say that a good, do we want to get into bad and good forms of propaganda, like examples, or what do you want to do?
Well, on this, I'm just pointing out.
I have some examples of good propaganda too.
Well, sure you do.
Like Band of Brothers, good propaganda.
Very good propaganda.
Very good propaganda.
I'll give you some more movie examples.
Okay.
John Wayne.
Okay.
All right.
He's been kind of hated lately, but,
okay, well, I'll tell you the deal. He always played the war hero. He was never in the service.
Okay.
Always the war hero. Never
so you're
in
saying
the service.
So you're saying this is bad propaganda then?
No, what I'm saying was that was propaganda to make us feel good about our American selves. And in and of that,
then I would say that's bad propaganda because you're taking them down a misleading road.
Then in and of
that's my opinion.
I believe that it served its purpose. It showed Howard Hawks' view of what Americana is. Now, is it true? Is it true that John Wayne's always the hero? No. Is it true that he's always the admiral or the captain or the tough old sergeant? No, he's just an actor. Here's
the problem.
An actor.
Here's the problem, though. Is that I truly think that people need to focus on the realism for good propaganda.
Well, yeah, not enough stories are about the code talkers of World War II.
Yeah.
Not enough attention has been given to the Buffalo Soldiers of the West.
Or the Nez Perce War.
Or the Nez Perce tribe.
Which we're going to keep bringing up because I'm going to keep bringing it up because I just think it'd be a damn good movie. Yeah. I mean, truly.
Who gets to that movie first? Which one of you directors?
I think there'd be several.
There should be.
There should be.
He was brilliant.
Yeah.
Chief Joseph was brilliant.
Yeah, and I think that there could be some good propaganda through that too, Absolutely. And I say that in a good way. I actually say that in a good way. It shows bravery. In fact, during the Nez Perce War, they were saying like, oh, the American soldiers at the time, they acted dishonorably. These people are trying to like live their lives. They're, in fact, it turned sentiment against the American soldiers in places like New York and San Francisco at the time and others. It's like, this is messed up.
Right.
Why are our tax dollars going to slaughter these people, basically?
Right.
And that's what they were pissed about.
Well, Custer and his men in the valiant last stand, Indian testimony of the battle said that a lot of the Indians there had a hard time chasing down these bad back white men that rode horses everywhere. Because as they ran away, as the white man ran away, they were so pathetic.
Please,
that the Indians actually felt sorry for him as they clubbed him down.
Yeah.
But you never hear that side of the story. Right? Mm-hmm. Would that make for good movie? I don't know. Would it make for good propaganda? Probably not.
Is it accurate?
Is it accurate? Yes. According to testimony.
So it depends then, I would say. Some of the realism depends. I mean, some of it is a dramatization. Like, the reason why I say Band of Brothers is good is it's a good dramatization of the realistic depictions of what happened.
Yeah, it is
you need,
very unvarnished.
Yeah.
It's very raw.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Benning, 74, where were you? Oh, sorry, man.
Not
I was wearing the shirt. If we're talking about them,
Sure.
Yeah. It wasn't intentional. I never prompted you to talk about Band of Brothers.
I wasn't there. Yeah. So let's see. But But I think there's also good shows of propaganda too. For example, there's a TV show that I probably won't shut up about, and it's The Shield. Or not The Shield, what am I thinking? The Wire.
Yeah, the viewers
Wire.
know that you love The Wire.
I love The Wire. The Wire is awesome. I actually think, like, for if you're truly like a country person, or if you're truly like a suburban kind of person, if you have no idea what the inner city's like, that's a dramatization too of realistic circumstances too of the inner city. Right. And I think they boil it down so that everyone can understand it. And that's why I think it's fucking brilliant.
I watched the series too.
Yeah.
And what I got from it all was that no one's better than anyone else.
None.
Nobody is better than anyone else.
Everyone
has their faults.
Yeah. And everyone's just trying to get by.
Every
single person.
Their own ecosystem that they have to survive in. Mm-hmm. And, it has to do with peer pressure. It has to do with going against the grain, doing the right thing, mm-hmm. or not allowing the right thing to happen. It is showing to me that we are all the same, and we all have the same insecurities, the same fears.
Yeah.
And it's all just painfully sad how we inflict harm on to each other.
Yeah.
Thinking that will make us safer.
And it just makes you ask all those questions too. Like, what if this classroom got a computer? What if this corner had, legalization of drugs? What if this thing had, it's like there's a lot of what ifs they pose in that show, and they go through it basically. And mm-hmm. It's not perfect. They don't figure everything out, but it definitely seems like it's a more humane way of treating people than the current system that we currently have.
No, I believe that we have, whether on purpose or not, there is systemic racism.
Oh, for sure. You want to know something interesting about The Wire too? The Wire, except for one scene that you might remember, where one character kills another cop, there are no other scenes of cops shooting other people in The Wire.
Really?
None. Zero. Except for one scene where, spoiler alert, Presbeluski ends up shooting a cop in like the third season.
Yeah, I remember.
It's all messed up, yeah, because of that.
I remember
the whole investigation.
I remember in the TV show Hill Street Blues, there was a criticism about it when it first came out, and it's like, not enough people are getting shot. And it's like,
but that's why I think like a show like Miami Vice, great TV show, bad propaganda.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there are differences in shows.
And I think Stephen Bochco's response to that was that cops don't go out there every day and shoot up the towns. We have cops that get hurt themselves. We have cops that care. Yeah, do we have shitheads? Yeah, we got shitheads.
And he did what? NYPD Blue? Is that what he did? Blue. Okay, yeah, and that was a realistic show for its time.
But he also turned the camera on everyone else, saying, show us your shitheads. We know you got them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm paraphrasing
what
he had to say, but that was the
but I understand what you're saying for sure,
right.
And that's what I love about The Wire too. Is like you have some characters that try to redeem themselves. You have characters that just go down a crappy road. You have everyone in between. That basically everyone has their own role in this society. Right. Is basically the gist in the end. Everyone's just trying to get by, and basically the cycles keep repeating.
Right. Well, absolutely, the media has contributed is the most powerful force in propagating propaganda.
Yeah.
And it can be used in good ways and it can be used in bad ways. Sometimes television networks will compete against each other and go to the extremes to be completely different so as not to confuse their simple-minded viewers. It's like, it's far this way or it's far that way.
Sure.
I don't want anything in the middle because that makes me think.
Right.
That makes me think. Propaganda, I mean,
mm-hmm.
it unites us, it manipulates us, and it motivates you.
Mm-hmm.
But I fear what is the case in our American society is that the majority of the population either denies propaganda or doesn't know where it is, what it is.
They can't tell what real and fictional is, basically.
Right. Come to your local PTA. Well, that's good propaganda. Gets everyone out of the house. You go to the PTA.
You're involved in your school community, I guess, or whatever. Yeah.
Great propaganda.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Burn down your neighbor's house because he doesn't agree with you. Not good.
Right.
Not good.
Right.
Gonna get on the net and say, everybody
Right.
come with me so that we can hate somebody.
Right. And
Not good.
Again, that's why I like The Wire too, is that usually they face circumstances like shit comes back around. Basically, they end up, like amongst the criminals. If they do something criminal, there's usually consequences that happen.
Consequences to your.
That's why I like it.
For your actions.
That's why I like it.
Everyone wants to just.
And it might take a whole season or two even to get to that resolution, but still sometimes it's just well worth it. That's how good the writing is for some of that stuff.
Right. And it's easy to rile up and talk rhetoric. Rhetoric is another form of propaganda. If you hear it enough, you start accidentally saying it yourself, and it just gets propagated throughout the waves.
Sure.
And one of the things that you'll hear from people is, I'd kill that guy.
That's bad.
Or I'd shoot that guy.
Yeah.
But here's my point to this. I'm not a combat veteran, but I know many of them. And they have all said that when they had to do their duty and they had to destroy an enemy, that enemy never went away.
Yeah.
You want to know an aspect to PTSD? Just because you shoot and kill someone does not make them go away.
Sure.
Quite the opposite happens. And time and time again, if you talk to a real veteran, not some mess hall guy that just bought his newest camouflage fatigues,
AR-15 Mall Ninja
bullshit.
Yeah.
You talk to a real warrior and they will say, the men I killed sleep with me every fucking night.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
Is it wise to say?
No,
just reflexively, I'll just shoot that guy. I'll just shoot that guy. When the fighting starts, we'll all get in a line. Yeah, I want you to get in a line. Makes it easy for me.
Be easier. But yeah.
But they say, I want to kill this person. I want to shoot this person. I want to do this thing.
Right.
As if they'll disappear. They don't.
No.
They don't.
Right. And that's why I hate labeling like far right, far left too. It's like, compared to what? Like, what's the standard? That's what pisses me off. Like, oh, what's the like, if there's a far right and far left, you would assume there would be a standard center, right? What's the center?
Right.
It makes no fucking sense.
No, it does not make sense.
It looks like to me that the Capitol was just sacked, pretty much. Close to having it, having worse circumstances happen in the Capitol.
Well, that was
because people fell for bad propaganda this last week,
True.
just before.
True. They were manipulated. They were motivated. They were manipulated. And they were lucky that their frenzy didn't go further than what it did, because the first time that they would have done anything to the people within,
right,
there'd have been no turning back. And you know who had been laughing the most? Putin.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing that Americans will not believe. Will not believe. Whether you're far right or far left.
Right.
It doesn't matter. They do not believe it. And this is the thing they don't believe.
What's that?
Well, Putin can't influence us.
Oh, horse shit.
Bullshit.
Yes, he can.
Does so every day. Every day.
Yeah. I mean, we can get into it, but we probably shouldn't. But no. But the deal is, he's a very influential man. That's for sure.
They're experienced in their propaganda.
Yeah.
All of Europe is more experienced with propaganda and know what it is as a tool.
And we're a fast food nation. We want it. We want junk right in our veins right away.
Than anyone in America, because Americans will say,
we're a fast food nation, man.
Americans
give us junk.
Americans say, it doesn't exist. You're wrong. in that you think that it's something.
Well, here's what you have. You have numerous good and bad actors that are trying to outwit and out-talk each other, basically, to influence the population. Good or bad, that's just what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you another good...
and that's what gets filtered down into the newsrooms and, whatever. It's not like there's a deep state, but there are problems, basically, because very few people control many of the resources, and that's a fact.
Right. You know who's one of the best distributor of propaganda?
Goebbels, you said?
Well, I hate... no, I was going to say the U.S. military. Goebbels. Back to Google. Google it yourself, read it yourself, make your own decisions, think for yourself.
Well, you want to know something? Can I tell you an interesting story about Goebbels? So there's something interesting about him. So there's a certain frequency, basically, and I'm going to get this wrong, but basically at like 40 hertz or something like that, there's some sort of radio frequency where basically if it's played at that, it basically makes you distressed when you listen to the music or listen to the audio. But if you change it to like 342 hertz versus 340, I want to say that's what it is. Basically it's more pleasant tone sound, basically, and basically all our radio is based off of the Goebbels Nazi standard.
So they can spoon feed it into
the stress into your body.
Spoon feed it into your body.
So how about that?
Oh, sure, there is some.
How about that?
In the 60s.
I mean,
in the 60s, some commercials were accused of having subliminal information below their text. They were manipulating the music or the sound or the message. They were talking about them editing in single frames on 24 frames per second, 16-minute film, and the one frame in 24 frames would say smoke pot or kill your neighbor, and over time, because your eyeballs and your brain weren't fast enough to pick up on that, you were still getting it. Your brain was still getting it.
Why am I getting these weird dreams?
And the FCC went nuts, and they started. Well, that was back when like the Beatles, and you wind the record backwards, and it says Paul is dead. I mean, all of this is propaganda. Is it funny? Okay. Is it harmless? Maybe not.
And now some of these label makers on purpose. Some of these label makers on purpose now make it on purpose so that you could do it backwards. I know for a fact that they now do it on purpose.
Absolutely,
which is funny.
I was mentioning
you might ruin your record, but that's funny.
I was mentioning the military as being another source of propaganda.
Yeah,
and I don't have long-winded examples, but for any serviceman that that's a veteran now or is currently serving, am I right or am I wrong? I mean, I saw the damnedest movies in black and white when I was in the service, and how to be a gentleman and stuff. I mean, yeah, maybe that's important, but maybe you should know that before you go in the service. How to stand guard and be responsible for standing guard and not falling asleep, because falling asleep on guard duty is...
Your friend Charlie and your enemy Charlie.
Yeah.
Things like that, right?
So...
What?
I mean...
no.
So another form of
Sorry
propaganda.
if that's offensive, but there you go.
I'm just listing that as another source of propaganda. The military, no matter what branch you're in, wants you to behave in a military fashion that they are going to demonstrate now on the big screen TV. Mm-hmm. It's propaganda. It's a tool used to manipulate and motivate you.
Yep.
So.
All right, ready to wrap up?
Yeah.
It went by quick, didn't it?
It did go by quick. I want to mention a couple more things about bad propaganda. You have constant misinformation as a source of it. Conspiracy theories. I mean, I like to have fun too, and I
do too, and I have fun too. I say the aliens beam down the download from the mountains. Okay, I say that.
Live up there.
Yeah, we know. Okay,
we need to get our tin hats going here. Jingoism. Beware of this one. This is warmongering. This is uber warmongering patriots. Now, the ones that are going to be the most warlike are the ones that have either never served.
Right, they're the biggest pussies.
or they live so far away from the problem that they feel that it's safe to mouth off. That is called jingoism.
Yep.
Symbology, of course, flags, stars and bars, swastikas, peace signs. That's symbology. That's symbology. Vilification, us versus them. It's us, or it's them.
Right.
Damn them. Good for us.
Right. I think even Carlin had a bit on that.
Oh, you know what?
I think it might have been
We should
in
look
that.
up some Carlin.
Carlin.
Anyway, again, Google propaganda. It's a real thing.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening to us. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah. See you later. How do you like our 2-shot?
I think our 2-shot works pretty well.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.